Hey all, it's John Trent from Bounty and Comics. I've got some Sony Spider-Verse news for you concerning their Black Cat and Silver Sable film. But before we get into it, I'd like to ask if you could please hit that subscribe button. It helps us ensure more people can see our videos and helps us combat Google and YouTube manipulating their algorithms to favor major corporations at the expense of the small guy. So hit that subscribe button and help more folks see this video. Appreciate it. Thank you. With that out of the way, there's a new rumor on the streets that Sony is still looking at adapting Black Cat and Silver Sable, that's a tongue twister there, into live action. But instead of bringing them onto the big screen, they are looking at featuring them in a TV series. This rumor comes from Fandom Wire, who report, quote, Fandom Wire's sources have revealed that Sony is turning its Silver and Black film into a television series, end quote. They don't really provide any more details other than that. If you hadn't been paying attention to the Silver and Black film news, it hasn't really been in the news in a while, so here's a quick refresher. It was originally titled Silver and Black and was supposed to hit theaters on February 8, 2019, with production expected to begin in March 2018, and that was from the Hollywood Reporter back in 2018, I believe. However, Sony would eventually drop the film from their release schedule in June 2018. The movie had a script written by Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robertson-Dorette and was expected to be directed by Gina Prince Bythewood. I probably butchered her name. According to script leaks provided by that hashtag show, the movie would see Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, steal from the wrong people and have everyone, including Silver Sable and her Wild Pack team, hunting her down. Sable would have been a bounty hunter working for the U.S. Department of Justice. She takes the bounty in order to get revenge on Mendel Stromm, who would have been the main villain of the film. Stromm had ruthlessly experimented on the people of Symkarian, Silver Sable's fictional home in Eastern Europe. The Symkarians aren't the only ones Stromm experimented on. Black Cat received some enhancements that increased her thief abilities as well. There were no specifics on what exactly those enhancements were. While Sable would have been the main protagonist hunting Black Cat, she wouldn't be the only one hunting her down. Tarantula and Scorpion were also expected to be on the hunt for the wily thief. And that's kind of as far as the script leaks went. Obviously, it got thrown off of Sony's schedule, but it looks like, if this rumor is true, that they do want to adapt Black Cat and Silver Sable to live action. I think this is actually a really interesting turn of events, especially after what we saw in the Morbius trailer and a lot of the rumors coming out of Sony and Marvel Studios around the time of the Morbius trailer and soon after. If they end up making a TV show, one would assume it would more than likely air on Disney+. Sony doesn't currently have its own streaming service. In fact, they announced today that their PlayStation Vue, which was their streaming service, ceased service. One would have to assume it would end up on Disney+ if they were going to go the TV route, especially if it's being tied into the Spider-Verse stuff and what we know about, or what we kind of the rumors are telling us about what's going on with the Spider-Verse and the MCU. In fact, if it does end up on Disney+, it reinforces that Sony and Marvel Studios are much more interconnected than previously thought. Especially, it seems like whatever deal they signed to bring Spider-Man back into the MCU over the summer, it looks like the two companies are much closer tied when it comes to the MCU. So the most recent information and rumors about Marvel Studios and Sony's relationship come from DR Movie News, and this was before the Morbius trailer, and they detailed that, quote, the Sony Spider-Verse events and plot points will only be referenced in Spider-Man films and not in any other Marvel Cinematic Universe films. They added Spider-Man MCU films will affect the Sony films, but Sony films won't affect the MCU. This would be reinforced by a rumor from Mikey Sutton, which I talked about earlier this week on our Spider-Gwen video. And Sutton explained the relationship was similar to how DR Movie News explained it. He said, Sony's solo ventures into the Spider-Man exist within the MCU. However, the MCU will not have to reference it in any fashion. Sutton also added, according to insiders at both Sony and Disney, the relationship between the two companies is rock solid in the future of Spidey. They both want and need one another. So if this, I think that it might even be more than that. I think that these Spider-Verse films might actually affect MCU going forward, especially if we're talking about Silver and Black on in a TV show and it potentially being on Disney Plus. Like I said, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see the Silver and Black TV show join the MCU. We did just see Michael Keaton looking much like his Adrian Toomes character from Spider-Man Homecoming appear in a stinger scene at the end of the first Morbius trailer. As for my feelings about this rumor, on the one hand, I feel like these characters need Spider-Man to thrive. On the other hand, Sony already put out Venom and without Spider-Man, so the precedent's already kind of been set there, and it's like, well, you got that precedence, you might as well move forward, especially it kind of did pretty well at the box office, especially globally. I think it did over 800,000, if memory serves me right. I do think a good crime caper could work very well as a TV series, especially with a superhero setting. I'm imagining something like The Fugitive, but in TV format, maybe even like Jason Bourne, where you still have kind of all of these different factions trying to hunt down Black Cat because she's got something that she stole from someone. Hopefully that's actually more than a plot point. It's actually something like that involves like character development. That would be really motivating factor for lots of different people kind of like hunting her down. I think that would make for a really interesting show. And I think I might like tune into that. That could be really interesting to me. I'm thinking like if you want to kind of, I'm gonna make another movie reference here, where you could even take that ending of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight when Batman goes on the run, but instead of them having that time skip between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, where Batman basically hangs up his cape, we actually get to see him going on the run. He's having to evade like the GCPD, and like maybe they've even brought in other people to kind of like hunt him down. Maybe you could even have them maybe bringing in like Superman, or like you could have like that's what they could have done. It would have been much better Batman vs Superman series, and would have been much more similar to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. If they had done that. But that's something that I could see them doing in a TV format, and that would be really interesting to me, and that would be something that I would tune into. But I want to know, what do y'all think about this? Do you want to see a Black Canary or Black Cat and Silver Sable TV series? Do you think it could be heavily connected to the MCU? Let me know by leaving a comment below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics. Until next time.